Hello everyone, welcome to UrFaculty.com. We are going to deal with our next topic, interest. I hope you got a chance to see our previous video on interest. This is a continuation of that video. Do visit our website www.urfaculty.com. You will get a lot of practice questions there, and visit us in our Facebook page, UrFaculty. Moving on, I hope you got a chance to go through the video. You will get the basics of interest in that, and also our percentage video to understand more about how these concepts work. Now, let's go to our next question. A certain sum of money was invested for 3 years. Simple interest, that's the keyword here. And had it been invested at 3% more interest rate, it would have given 540 more. So we need to find out the principal. So the keyword here is that there was a rate of interest R and there is a rate of interest R plus 3%. And what they are saying is the difference of both these will get you 540 more. Now I'll do it in two ways, and you can take the approach that you are more comfortable with. Let's go by the traditional method first. So what's the traditional method? The traditional method is P into N into R plus 3 by 100 minus, this is basically the interest here, P into N into R by 100. This one is equal to 540. I think it's pretty simple. The difference of both the interest is equal to 540. Now you just need to solve this equation, and I'm sure it's not as complex as it looks like. Why? Because this term will give you PNR by 100, and here it is minus PNR by 100. So all that you are left with is 3PN the equation leads to 3PN by 100, which is equal to 540. And we know that N is equal to 3. Hence, we are left with 9P by 100 is equal to 540. And you cancel it, you get 60, which is equal to, so principal is equal to 6,000. So it's pretty simple, right? Now, there's another way of looking at it. We know that with an increase of 3% for a period of 3 years, the value went up by 540. So what does this mean? A factor of 9% actually helped it in going up by 540. If 9% of that value is 540, what is 100% of that value? How do you do that? You just need to write an expression like this and then do a cross multiply. When you do cross multiply, you get 540 into 100 by, you bring this denominator 9. It will be 60, which is equal to 6,000. I repeat it. This is the easiest way to do this problem. You need to basically understand that the increase is because of the percentage and the number of years, and the combined value is basically 9%, and 9% of the total principal is actually yielding you 540 extra. If 9% is 540, what would be 100%? How do you calculate that? You just need to do this cross multiplication, which is basically 540 into 100 by 9, and you get 6,000. I hope you understand this. Moving on, a certain sum was compounded annually becomes 67760. The number looks complex. Please don't ignore this question. It is very easy. At the end of 2 years, find the principal if the rate of interest is 10%. In all these problems, one thing that you have to note, if it is compounded annually and the value is given as 10%, the bigger number, the amount or principal, would actually be a multiple of 11. Why is that so? It's because when you're doing a P into 1 plus R by 100, the factor, the R is basically here 10 by 100, which is basically 0.1. And 1 plus 0.1 will give you 1.1. And because of that, you will see that most of them, these big numbers given are basically multiple of 11. Even here, if you apply the divisibility test, you will see 7 plus 6 is 13, 7 plus 6 is 13, 13 minus 13 is 0, and hence 67760 is basically a multiple of 11. You can confidently get into the calculation because you will be easily able to cancel all the numbers. Now, how do you get into the calculation? What is the calculation here? A is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 power n. What is the amount here? The amount is 67760. And what is the principal? That's what we have to find out. And what is the rate of interest? 1 plus 10 by 100 power 2. And how do you solve this problem? It's pretty simple. P is equal to 67760. And what would this yield? I mean, without wasting much time, we can say that it is basically 11 by 10 square, right? This is what this component yields you. So you just need to put 100 by 11 into 11. I'll keep it at 11 to 11 only. And if you start cancelling both, you finally get a value of 560. So what's the final value then? The final value is basically the principal that we are supposed to find out is 56000. And that, if compounded annually for 2 years at 10% interest, would yield 67760. I hope you understood. We just did a substitution. The intent for bringing this question was to show that generally you will get big, even if you get big number, the problem is pretty simple. All that you have to do is solve it till the end. And of course, in a lot of these exams now, the calculators are also provided, so it should be even more easier for you. Now, moving on, one important concept that needs to be understood in these cases is when it is compounded annually. We did this problem at P into 1 plus R by 100 power n. What if they say it is compounded, the rate of interest is per annum, but compounded half yearly? What happens to our equation? Our equation becomes 1 plus the rate of interest is for per annum but compounded annually, half yearly, right? So your rate of interest becomes half. And what happens to your duration? You are doing it twice a year, so it becomes 2n. So your equation becomes P into 1 plus R by 2 by 100 to the power of 2 power n. Now, what if they say R percentage per annum compounded quarterly? P into 1 plus R by 4 by 100 power 4n. Please note, what you have done here is that since the rate of interest, since it is compounded quarterly, your duration per year becomes 4 times, and the rate of interest has to be divided by 4 times to get this value. So please note that the question doesn't end if they just say compounded annually. You have to be very careful if the word annually is used or quarterly is used or half yearly is used. So this is very key in such questions. To explain this further, let's try to understand that If you are given a question where they say it is compounded half yearly at R percentage per annum. So why I'm doing this again is I thought that page was a little cluttered, so I'm trying to explain it again here. So at R percentage per annum compounded half yearly, what do you get? P into 1 plus R by 2 by 100 power 2n. Why I'm doing this here now is, now what if the same question is applicable for a depreciation? Let's say you bought a machine, like your machine or your car or your bike. At the end of 1 year, there is a certain calculation based on which the value of that machine or car or bike comes down, let's say by 10%. So what is the new value of that vehicle? How do you calculate that? See, the new value of a machine under depreciation is basically equal to old value into 1 minus R by 100 power n. Now, look at this equation. Doesn't it look familiar? It is basically the same equation that you would have used in the case of percentage, where a particular product's value goes down or a population comes down by R percentage. What is the new value? So what do you do in such cases? Let's say if it was 5%, we multiplied that factor by 0.95. If it was 10%, we multiply the factor by 0.9. It's the same concept. What you are trying to do is you are applying the same concept here. Since it's the same term percentage value that is getting depreciated year on year, we do a power. Otherwise it would have been basically, let's say the old value of the machine was 100 and depreciated by 10%. It is basically 0.9 into 0.9 into 0.9 if it is for 3 years. So this is the calculation and it will be very useful. Please note the keyword would be in such cases depreciation. Moving on, for the last question in this video. It's an interesting question because you're going to find out use the formula for basically the concept used is compound interest and simple interest together, and they asked us to use this value 144, which is the difference between both of them. Now the question has to be simplified by putting first the simple interest. What is the simple interest in this case? Simple interest is P into 12% per annum for 2 years by 100. And what is the compound interest in this case? P into 1 plus 12 by 100 power 2. Does it get over here? No. Why? Because this formula is actually applicable for the amount. Now you are supposed to find out the compound interest, the value, which is basically minus P. Only then you will get the actual interest value. Now what are they said? They have said that the difference between both of them, this equation and this equation, is equal to 144. So what happens? You put it as P into 1 plus 12 by 100 square minus P minus 24P by 100 is equal to 144. I'll not spend my time in solving this. So what you get is ultimately 144 by 100p or 100 square is equal to 144, and you cancel this, you get p is equal to, so this is the value that you get. Now I'm going to teach one interesting concept here which will be very useful for you in problems like this. So let's take this 1 plus 12 by 100 square. So what do you see here? When you do a cross multiplication, you will get it as 112 by 100 power 2. 112 square. This looks scary, right? I will anyway you can anyway see a video on the shortcuts for arriving at the squares of 3-digit numbers. But just to give a hint of how it works, what do we do to find out 112 square easily? Let's divide the whole number into two parts. One part is 1, the other part is 12. How do we arrive at the number? You first put 1 square. Then you put 12 square. 12 square is 144. I am carrying, just enter for 2 digits and carry this number 1. And then what you have to do is multiply these two terms. 1 into 12 into 2. 1 into 12 into 2. And what do you get? You get 24. And you need to sum this, this carryover from previous one, you have to add over here. So you get 1, 2, 5, 4, 4. So this is an easy way to arrive at this number, and you apply it over here. You'll be able to subtract all the numbers, and I assume you will see 1, 2, 5, 4, 4 minus 1, 2, 4, 0, 0, based on which you will get 144 as the number, which is what you see here. And 144 by 100 square p is equal to 144, and hence you get the answer as this. So this particular concept I just want to touch upon in this video. I will anyway run a video on, you can anyway see it in our channel, a video on shortcuts for squares and whether it is 2-digit or 3-digit, how to arrive at squares at a very quick pace. Thanks for watching this video. You can follow us in our YouTube channel, UrFaculty channel, and you can also like us in our Facebook page and LinkedIn page. We also have our blogs where we share our quiz on a regular basis. You can also take quizzes there. So blog.urfaculty.com. You can see our tests in www.urfaculty.com. There are a lot of tests for each of these exams, bank exam or IBPS exam or GRE or CAT. You can try out over there. Thank you.